Good morning, everyone. Hi, I see there are a few people here with me waiting. Good morning, it's Mary Ellen, and welcome to, I think this is the third or fourth live stream broadcast. So, a couple of things. I'm fussing around in the background, that's why you're seeing a picture, not me yet. Um, this is a new adventure for me. For those of you that are new and have stumbled upon this, I just want to let you know that I am skilling up. So this will be far from perfect. I'm an experiential learner, so I decided to just jump in and learn while I'm going along. I am managing a couple different things in the background in case you haven't done live stream, you don't know. It takes a little bit of effort that I'm not. Oh, you know what? There I am. Hi, gang. So, if you stumble upon this video, what happens to the live stream is they turn it into videos and they are posted on the channel so everyone can see them. So, if you stumble upon this video and you're listening to this, I would advise you to jump ahead a few minutes. There's always a little bit of fussy stuff that happens in the beginning, at least in these first, I don't know, probably over the first couple of weeks or month or so, is my guess, until I become comfortable with this experience. So I'm using, I forgot yesterday, I'm using the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot deck. It was developed by Caitlin Matthews, who is an amazing person with a lifetime adventure into this type of knowledge. Okay, so I always want to give a shout out to her because uh, her work is astounding, and she has an enormous body of work, so you might want to go and check her out online. Okay, so let's see the other thing. Just a reminder, underneath every video, there is a description box. You will see the phrase show more. Click on that. A box of information opens. Everything you need is there. If you want to join the live stream, there are going to be a series of private, subscription only live stream events. I have decided to charge a small fee for that, just for my time, in an effort to support myself and support the channel. So it's 35 bucks for a year, and it's full access. So those things will not turn into public videos, just so you know, okay? The readings, I will continue, I think, to do live stream, and those are going to be available to everyone. I don't want to have an access gate for that. So everything you need is in that information box. So go there, check it out. And if you want to email me, I put my email right at the bottom. So scroll all the way down. And just so you know, I get dozens of emails per day sometimes. So email's a challenge for me. I will get back to you. It may take a couple days because I'm doing this, I'm doing readings, I'm attending to my own life. There's a lot going on in the background, okay? So I'm going to toggle back to the pictures and we'll jump into the reading. And welcome. Thanks for being here. At some point, every so often, I check the chat stream just to welcome people and try to answer questions. So let's jump in. That is the main altar at Null Passageway. And your Pisces reading was done. It was one of the first readings I did while I was on this adventure that I was having, this spiritual adventure. So I'm going to just take you through a little bit of the area, some pictures. We're going to share some pictures and we'll jump into your reading, okay? So let's see. It looks like the stream is good. I'm just going to give me a moment. I'm just checking, make sure everything is fine. So we're at 5 minutes, at 5.5 minutes right now. So I guess, I don't know. I haven't figured out how to do that. If you're trying to jump ahead, that's the point. I'll put a note, I guess, on the video once it posts. So Null Passageway is called Fornax, and it's just in a field like all of these, most of these beautiful mounds exist. They're dotted all over the countryside. And I was at Douth, doing readings at Douth, having come from, I went to Newgrange, I went to Nouth, and then I started to explore a little deeper. And some of the wonderful folks that I met on my journey started to tell me the things that only the local people know about other passage tombs that are available to with a key. So you can literally go to somebody's door, which even that I found amazing that people were willing to have all this stream of strangers come to their door and knock on the door and ask for the key. So, it's that alone I thought was just props to those people. Thank you very much. Uh, I found my way to this passage tomb, and luckily for me, a wonderful woman that I had done a reading for in Dublin area agreed to accompany me. And so she helped me find the place. We got the key. There's a little sign by the side of the road that tells you whose house to go to. And we went over, knocked on the door. Luckily, the woman was home. And we did go in. And this is what it looks like. So that's the countryside around the mound. And, so here in this field is this mound. And they've put, whoever tends these places, I think it's UNESCO actually, because the Boyne Valley has been designated as a World Heritage Site. So most of these places, or well, that may not be true, many have constructed sidewalks and the request, please don't trample the mound. So it's very unassuming when you walk up to it. And then, so, in this place, when you come sort of around the circle and you, come to the front of the tomb, that's what you see. There's a giant iron door. It is locked to try to keep, I guess, hopefully, just the folks who really have sort of positive intention and have the ability to respect the space and all of that. So, obviously that's why there's a key, but that's what it looks like, okay? So, there is, it somehow seemed fitting to me, pardon me, that there was a formidable blockage to gain entry. There has to be an intention. That's how it felt. So there I am sticking the key in the lock. And, in that moment, I was nervous. I wasn't sure because I had been in Newgrange and I had been at FourKnocks. And so I had an idea about where I was going and the intensity of those spaces. All the other passage tombs that I had been to prior to this, there were dozens of people with me. And, this time, finally, it was me. And thank God my friend Paula was with me because I needed the support. And so, things that, some of these things, events, feelings, emotions, the psychology of the moment for me, and the spiritual intensity, I'm grateful for that because I think it helped me as a card reader because we talk about those things, especially in the private readings, a lot about what it is to have this human experience and face your fears and feel them and have to stand with them. So that's why that picture is there, because I just wanted to acknowledge, on a human level, this was a big moment for me. I had no idea what was going to happen. I had some fears that were based on my self-understanding and some of the experiences that have happened over the course of my lifetime, very spontaneously. I never know what to call them, but mystical, I guess. In my life, anyways, for me, very mystical experiences have happened in extremely spontaneous ways when I least expected it. And so now, with that knowledge in the back of my mind and those experiences carrying forward, I put the key in the lock. And I had a moment, I just had to stand there and breathe because I thought, okay, now I'm doing this with intention and I am asking for an experience. So based on some of the things that have happened in my life prior to this, believe me, there was a healthy dose of fear going on for me. All right, so let's see. And there we are. The door's open, and this is what you see. And again, another moment of just true intensity in every way. And so I just had to stand there for a moment and absorb what I was intending to do, what I was asking for, and the experience of asking. And then it wasn't a ceremony, but it felt that way to me because of my intention, that I had to stand there and make the decision to walk into the darkness alone with myself, in a sense. And I had another person with me. And still, in that moment, I felt alone. So, all the folks out there who talk with me, especially in the private readings, about that experience that you are having, as we are in some way inside of ourselves. We have to face these moments and our decisions and the outcome. It brings a special type of beauty and mystery to those kinds of intentions. So, again, going forward in these readings, it's going to help me have a better acute awareness and be able to connect with this aspect of the things that you share with me while you're exploring your own spiritual journey. So I'm eager to be doing the readings that are going to come after this experience of these passage tombs. So there we are, sort of halfway in. This is what the view is. There's a little bit of light that comes in from the outside. That's what I call the main altar. You can see my blanket there on the ground where I was doing the readings. So I walked around and I thought, all right, I'm going to come in. I'm going to have my moments and say my prayers, so to speak, and ask for some information to come through. I walked around a little bit. Let me toggle through some more photos for you. So I walked around a little bit inside the passageway and trying to figure out what's the right place for me to sit and do what I'm intending to do, which is to communicate with whatever energy might be there in hopes of learning something and perhaps doing some readings if that was meant to be, so to speak. So I walked around and there are 3 different burial bowls. I'm calling them altars, but in many of these places, including in Newgrange, there are huge stone bowls that exist inside of these, they're square, basically, more or less, altars, in order to hold the remains of people who were cremated and brought to the tombs to prepare for their passage into the other world. I've come to believe that, I'm not an expert, so I don't know if this is factually true, but having had these experiences, what I have come to believe is that the remains were probably at various times of the year moved from altar to altar in order to have transition, if you will, and passage through the circular tomb around the 4 directions in preparation to come and rest, and who knows for how long, in this main altar to await the solstice, so that when the sun rises on the 21st of December and fills the passageway, I believe there is some energy that happens, and it is a way of helping the soul, if you will, pass into the next realm. So those were all the things that were going through my mind as I was in these places. And, along with my fear. So I was trying to, come to the place where I could be calm enough. Let me toggle back to my face. So my effort was to be calm. And it was difficult. And to be present in all of me, that part of me that I've connected to that does have its existence across the veil. Those are the words I use. And I think, people know that's a generic term. So, again, I just want to offer you my love and support and encouragement because I understand that these journeys are not easy. So my intention was to have a spiritual communion, if you will, with this energy, whatever that might be, and hopefully to come in contact with some of the spirit guides that I experience when I get these channeled information that comes through me. And yet in the moment, that was my intention. All of my fear and all of my self-doubt right up to the surface. So I had to manage that while I was intending to do something else. So I hope that it increases my, my skill base maybe, or my ability to understand and interact with you folks through a personal reading. So that's sort of my personal pledge going forward. Let's jump into your cards. Okay, give me a moment. I'm going to toggle back and I'll show you the pictures of the cards. So what happened, I came into the tomb. I've said this in a couple of the other readings, but I just want you to know, Pisces. Let me show you one more picture. So I went in, we explored around a little bit, and as I said, I was going through whatever I was going through, and including overwhelm. Just that the beauty of standing where I was standing was almost overwhelming. So I sat down, I settled myself. Paula was sitting next to me, and God bless that woman for helping me. We put the cards down, and I got some channeled information. I started to sort of get a little stream, and I was told, not asked, I was told to take the runes out and shuffle the runes around and throw the stones down. And I resisted. It's such a human experience, right? So I was saying, I don't know how to read the runes. I haven't done that yet. And Spirit just kept telling me, just do it. Just do it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter if you don't know. And, I say that to people a lot. I want you to understand where that comes from. It's not a, there's no disrespect meant there. I'm not glossing over things. Sometimes we are meant to be sent on another piece of our journey because of the things we don't know, right? And that spur us to go forward into a new form of exploration. So I'm sure that's what that was about for me. I finally did get out of my own way, and I complied. And when the moment came and I threw them down, the door shut. And this is how it was in there. So you can imagine my level of, oh my God. I mean, truly, I was freaking out in a good way and also in a fear way because, clearly there was a message there about acknowledgement that I was there and what the purpose was. And, that the energy was with me. And so let's shut the door and have privacy and quiet. But that plunged me into darkness. So, it was just sort of, it was, let's see, it was intense. Let's just put it that way. And, now in the, in hindsight, okay, having come through that, I can laugh at myself and look back and think, oh my gosh, but in the moment, believe me, I was not laughing. So I'm going to toggle back. I'm going to show you the first card that came out in the dark, sitting in the passage tomb. Okay. And yours was the second reading. I did the community reading first. I've been waiting to do that since the days after the last eclipse, waiting for the energy to settle down a little bit and for some time to pass. But I've been very curious to hear what the spirit world wants to say about that to us at this point going forward. So that reading came out first, and then I just asked for a little bit of guidance, and pardon me, and started shuffling the cards, and it was Pisces, straight off the top. So yours was the first reading that happened from the passage tunes Pisces, and I understand why, because of the transformation or the type of transformation that you've been having. Everybody's transforming, all of us. Um, each one, each astrological set point in a very particular way. So I'm now inviting people to go look at the readings for some of the other astrology um, set points, I guess is what I call them, energy set points. So you can begin to understand this tapestry that's being woven. It's really beautiful. And I'm hoping that at some point I get enough channeled information to be able to talk about that. It's building up inside of me, but I'm not ready yet. So that'll come out, all right? So let's go to your reading. Let's see. Okay. There it is. So you can see that the runes that came out, that was quite a widespread in a certain way. And if there's anybody out there who knows how to read runes and would like to assist me to decode this message, I would love to have your help. So put a message on this thread and let me know, okay? I'd love to hear it. And so I'm just going to take a moment and look at the chat and see who's here, okay? Oh, Mary Love, you are just the sweetest. And, you know, forgive me because some of the names and pronunciations I'm not going to do correctly, but Jaja from Germany, hello. And there's somebody from Romania. Hey, Singapore. You know, it's funny. I just have to share this briefly. Many years ago, before the internet existed, I used to sit for my meditations and, long before I ever told anybody that I was clairvoyant, I was hiding. You know, I was just sort of gestating, if you will, inside of myself, not sure what to do with all these things that I was experiencing. And I had a vision that came repeatedly, and I couldn't figure out how to interpret it. But it was, I was seeing myself sitting in a meditative way in a room with a net, kind of like a fish net or a grid net that circled the entire earth. And I was there communicating with people from everywhere. And I couldn't for years figure out how that was supposed to happen. And here I am. So this is kind of fun. All right, let's see. So, yeah, Carmela, I think. So what happens with the stream? I live in a remote area. I have limited internet upload capacity. I'm working in the background with the company to try to increase that. But for now, my guess is these live streams are going to buffer from time to time. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. And it's one of the reasons that I'm doing the readings in the morning and the midday, because on top of that, my electricity is self-generated with solar panels. So I have to do the streams this time of the day while the sun is high, and I can generate the electricity to run the equipment. So let's see. Hi, Marilyn. Hi, Antoinette. Mary is here. Suze is here. You know, some of you folks have been here for all these streams. Carmela, hi. Okay, somebody whose tagline is D1HN, hello. All right. So what happens? Let me just tell you a little bit about the process. I have to start the live stream with my software. Then I have to go to YouTube and preview the stream and get it running. And then once that is done, I can click go live. And so all of that takes a couple of minutes. So I have to come online a few minutes early and get everything set up. And It just takes some time. And again, I will get better at this, but in the meantime, that is what's happening. That's what you are experiencing on your end as I continue to learn about managing this process, okay? So, all right. Kiki, hi. Oh my gosh, I'm glad you're here. That's wonderful. Hi, Marilyn. Antoinette, hi. All right, guys, so I'm going to toggle back to my software and we'll go through the reading, okay? And then towards the end, I'll check the live stream chat again and see if there are any questions that come through, okay? So look at that. Right in the center of your reading is the elopement of skill. This card came out a lot during the eclipse seasons that happened in February and over the summer. So if you haven't seen those videos, they are on my channel. Check them out. This is a story about a sacred commitment and what it takes, kind of like what I was talking about, to have a sacred commitment and the obstacles that come at times to keep you from your goal that could come from anywhere in your life. Okay, I'm going to toggle back to my live little face and show you the card. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's the card. And again, just acknowledgement. When I look at the camera that I'm streaming from, everything is reversed. So it's challenging for me. I haven't sort of gotten to second nature yet about how to move my hand, etc. So what's easiest for me is to just put it right in front of my face. I apologize for that. All right, so there's the elopement of skill. Look at that. So both of these individuals are transforming. The garments are purple and blue. And what is happening in this story is they are actually ascending together, having joined their energy. And what's coming through in the moment is it's about embracing spirit. It's not about romantic love. The story is about romantic love. But in this moment, through these messages that came through the passage tombs, a lot of emphasis was put on your connection with spirit and your life as a spirit being, and how you have the capacity in these moments as the days unfold of autumn and bring us toward the solstice, the time of year when light comes back into the world along with a certain type of energy. And we have the capacity to go deep between now and then and prepare to pass over with some part of our being. Even though we're walking in our human skin, we have the capacity to come together with spirit and experience an ascension. And I believe, like I said, that's what the passage tombs are about. Helping souls prepare to have some quiet, literal darkness and quiet, undisturbed, in order for a process to take place on a soul level, to prepare to cross over from this place to the mystical realm, whatever that might be. Some of us call it heaven, some of us call it the universe. I don't think it matters. I think it's a concept that all over the earth, no matter your religious background, somewhere in that information is that concept, okay? So this couple, they were sacred lovers and they wanted to be together. They wanted to get married. And somebody was trying to prevent it. So the woman had a spell put on her and she was turned into a fly to keep her from being available and able to interact with her lover. She flew. She got turned into a fly. She flew into, and they were in a giant banquet hall, okay? So she flew into the mouth of somebody at the banquet and regestated inside the body of this woman and was reborn in kind of a magical, instantaneous way, okay? That's what happened. When she was reborn, and again, think about spiritual rebirth, okay? When that happened and she went through that process, her lover was still standing there waiting. Oops, see, it's backwards. he was standing there across the hall waiting for her. And, they ran and embraced each other. And what they did literally was they ran to the only passage, right, which was the chimney. So they ran and stood in the chimney, and they ascended out the smoke hole. And when they got to the top, they turned into swans and flew away. And I don't know if you know this, but swans mate for life. So, the name of the card is the Elopement. It's about rising up and passing on by the development of the spiritual skill set that's available to all of us, I believe, in these days leading up. Oops, see, there goes the card. Leading up to the solstice. So this is the light. This is the theme. This is the spiritual message that Spirit asked me through the cards to relay to you folks. Okay, so let's toggle back and we'll look at the aspect that is you that lies underneath this card when the readings come out. So I'll show you that picture. There you are. So here's the other thing. Every reading that came out in this particular passage tome, every single one, had this beautiful goddess in the reading, someplace. And even Paula looked at me and said, wow, she's really here with us. So a couple things were happening. Paula and I, let me toggle back. Sorry. I will get better at this, I promise. All right. So, we were very quiet, but there was a third woman. There were 3 female spiritual intentions, if you will, inside the tomb. There was a woman who contacted me one day while I was at Tara. I spent a lot of time at Tara. And, there's the kind of mystical things that happened to me. So this is what happened. I got a message that came through on my phone. I more or less had no internet and no cell service, and I was sort of down, which was frustrating for me. But now, again, in hindsight, I think, of course, I was supposed to be, like Spirit wants all of us to do, all the rest of us to do, just be in my spiritual place and just have that experience to the best of my ability. So I was sitting at Tara. I was sitting in my car. It was pouring rain, and a message came through. Like the first message I had gotten in 2 weeks. Suddenly, cell service, I don't know why. It was a woman, I think she was in Sweden. And she said, I went to a shaman. I had this visit with the shaman, and the shaman told me there were urgent messages waiting for me at Tara, and I should collect them as soon as I can. And a friend of hers had had a personal reading with me. And they had this conversation. She gave her my contact information, and she contacted me. And so we did a reading. We had a beautiful interaction about the changes that are happening in her life on a spiritual basis. And her energy came with me and my friend Paula to the passage tomb, to Fornax. So, some of you out there talk about the way you feel when you watch the videos and the things that stimulate your heart, etc. And I may talk about this in one of the live streams. I believe those are real experiences. And what my experience is that connections do happen. That vision that I had really was foreshadowing of things to come. So if you feel a spark of energy, if you feel something like that, help yourself understand that is real. And whatever it is about my energy that goes out into the world, people can feel it. I've begun to understand. I've always had that concept inside of me, but I didn't know that it was real. So since I've done the readings and I've begun to post these videos, I get a lot of messages like that. And I have conversations in the background, in private with people through email and Skype. So, all right, let's toggle back, okay? Now, so that woman with the spear in her hand is the guardian. So that card is a major arcana card, okay? And Let me toggle back. All right, so look at this beautiful woman. Sorry. All right, so the guardian of the gateway. In the traditional tarot, this would be the high priestess. So take all your inferences from that and build upon it, is what Spirit is saying to me. So let's look at her for a minute. Do you see how she holds the spiral of life at her heart? And she has her spear. She's a sacred warrior with a particular type of energy. There's her shield. She has everything that she needs. And do you see how it's orbs and it looks like light connected. And while we were in the tomb, there were some things that happened that I'm not ready to talk about yet, but orbs of light, it was very clear we were not there alone. It's part of what was so scary in a certain way. The human part of me was just freaking out on a certain level. Even though I was there and wanted to have the experience, it still frightened me. So, that's part of being human, I guess. So there she is. She's holding her personal power. That's what the spear is. She's very activated at the heart and throat chakra and at the third eye. And that is the Divine Mother standing behind her, supporting her. Her job, the full name of the card, is the Guardian of the Gateway. So you can imagine how it felt to me, knowing everything I know about this card, when this came up right in the center, and especially for you, Pisces. Okay? So there's beautiful spiritual warriorship at the center of your being acknowledged by Spirit inside the passage tomb, the guardian of the gateway. And we've been talking about this, and your cards, well, over the last 4 or 5 months, all of you who've seen those readings, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? Isn't this 100% appropriate? And doesn't it feel wonderful to be acknowledged in this way by Spirit from a place like that? This is the energy you walk through life with. And we've been talking about that. I've been talking about it. And certainly deep discussions with those of you who have come for private readings, when these topics come out about your own particular life experience. Okay, so let's look at the next card. That is the King of Art. So here to acknowledge again the mystical capacity that you have. The King of Art, also a spiritual warrior. And I'm going to toggle back so you can see it. Okay, look. Do you see? He's activated the third eye very definitely. And he has the spiral at the heart chakra, just like the High Priestess, the guardian of the gateway. This is the male complement to that energy. And while she stands firmly in the mystical realm, let me show you, okay? Do you see? If I can get them together in the stream, I gotta go the other way. So do you see these two are here for you in these moments? And you can tell my cards, the little plastic coating starting to come off because I use them so much. I'm gonna have to try to find another deck. They're not in print anymore. But I use them so much they're starting to come apart. So the King of Art, also higher vision, the capacity to travel back and forth, okay, across the veil. That's what the raven's all about. And, you see the sun and the color of the straw, the wheat that he's standing in. He has sandals on. He does have his spear. His warriorship has nothing to do with battle at all. He is of the mystical realm, and yet he stands here on the earth. And he has the capacity to see deep into the life of those around him and be a guide. And so, 2 guides for you. First of all, the energy that is inside of you. And that's a lot of what Spirit wanted to talk about, okay? So as you walk, in your center place, in your spirit realm, inside of yourself, in this way, with this beautiful, fertile female energy, the high priestess, the guardian of the gateway. So, Spirit's talking about you standing at the gateway of your own experience on a spiritual level in this way, having developed over the course of this year in the ways I've been talking about through all of these readings that have come out. Okay? And Spirit's telling me, most especially in the days around the last set of solar eclipses. Okay? Hey, wait a minute. Okay, so what Spirit's saying is, in 2017, there was sort of a match set, all right? The things that happened in February, and then again over the summer. So every year there are sets of eclipses. What's being talked about is this year, all right? So you have that aspect. You've developed. If you should decide to touch it, you can have access to yourself in that way. And, it's female energy. So there is more coming. There is more life. There is more gestation, if you will, that you're going to experience because you are in that state. And here to accompany you, the complementary energy that you actually need to bring things into fruition, that's your complement. The first card on the human walk is that type of energy, here to meet your spiritual being and to help you go forward. So that's really wonderful. And the third card, let me toggle back. Also male energy. So there it is. Look at that. Not sure if I can move these around once they're in there. No, I can't. All right. So that is the decider of will. The will that comes from within you in these moments going forward. Again, sorry, I'm playing in the background with the darn software. I hate being so distracted, so forgiveness. Okay, I'm asking for forgiveness for that. So here's the decider. See that? Okay, this is why I just have to hold it in front of my face. So the decider of will, also here, this energy is helping you walk through your day-to-day existence. And there's the male deity in the background. And you see each card that has come out has been about heart chakra energy. And so it is the will of your heart, what your heart wants on a spiritual basis, that Spirit wants to speak with you about and ask you to be, the word that's coming through is warriorship. And so the notion is about what we would consider male assignment type of energy, right? So being brave, being married to the energy of intention is what Spirit's saying. That's what it's about. The cards came out, but I didn't read them. I saved that for now. So there you go. Married to the energy of intention. That's what Spirit wants to talk with you about. I will figure this out eventually. So from a spiritual perspective, think deeply about that. Feel deeply, Spirit says. Allow yourself to understand that these things are true in your life. You feel the inklings. It's really hard to acknowledge them, especially when you don't understand. And what Spirit's saying is, don't worry about understanding it. Just be with it. And it will develop. If you allow it in, it will develop of its own accord. That's why I was telling that story about the internet, right? I didn't know how that was going to happen. I just knew it was true. And I set off, one other thing Spirit wants me to tell you. So, like most people, I set off intent to figure that out. And because of who I am, I had no capacity to figure that out. I didn't know anything about technology. I wasn't working with computers. Computers were around, but the internet hadn't really come into the public domain. It did exist. And I think because of my intuitive, clairvoyant nature, I was picking up on that. I just didn't intellectually know. So do not allow your intellectual process to stand in the way of the experience you're actually having. This type of energy from the heart chakra, it's about intention and doing what comes from that. So you will feel a spiritual intention. It has its own energy set point and mindset within that. Follow that. I knew I was meant to go on this pilgrimage. I didn't really know all the details, and I did my best to do some planning, but to leave it flexible enough so that whatever was meant to unfold would happen. And this is what happened. As I've been saying in some of the other videos, I had no intention of spending all my time in these passage tombs. That's not the journey I had planned for myself, but it's the way it worked out. And so I just kept following the energy, and these readings are the result. And so I guess I just offer that for your consideration as you go forward in these moments between now and the solstice. Because in 2018, there is something new that is going to come based on all the awareness and the experiences that we've had and the passage that we have the ability to connect with if we choose to be available for that. So those are the things that, that's the kind of stuff I'm getting now as I'm doing the readings. Okay, so let's see, where's the next card? Okay, you're going to love this one. Look at that. The Queen of Battle. So, we have the Guardian of the Gateway, the King of Art, the Decider, which is the first card, I forgot to say it, I think, in the major arcana of this deck, the Decider. So again, there's a newness to this. Something has happened. There has been a transition, an elopement of skill, like that first card spoke to. And now, to confirm for you, the Queen of Battle, the sacred shamaness, and again, sacred, beautiful female energy. And the blending of that, you know what? The word that's coming is exalted, shamanistic accompaniment to prepare you and be with you through the passage that's coming on the solstice and the continuing days that we have between now and then to prepare and to have the experience of preparing to be in passage. And it's a profound invitation. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down to the next card. Give me a moment in the background. Okay, so this is the bridge card, and that is the Woman of Art. And I'm going to toggle back to my face. It takes me a moment because I have to scroll through all the pictures and then find the live stream again, click on that, okay? So that is the goddess of the river Boyne, and that's exactly where I was. So I felt it was wonderful to see her show up. I felt so loved in those moments to be accompanied in this way by this incredible woman. Look at her. Okay, so do you see how activated she is? She is existing. Okay, I'm getting a download. Give me just a sec. All right, so what Spirit wants to say is, this is how we all have the capacity and the ability to exist inside our human life. She is very filled with spiritual energy. She understands herself as a spirit being walking in a human body. And it brings to her joy and abundance. And I'm going to pull it out a little bit. So this is what the Boyne Valley looks like. It's incredibly lush and green and gorgeous. So this woman, the myth has it, had her own challenges, and a moment came and she caused the waters to rise up and form the river Boyne. Okay? And now her energy, as she transforms and grows, holding abundance in her hand with more abundance at her back. You see the cows? Her name, actually, Bo Ann, meant cow abundance. From back in the days when, to be wealthy meant to have cows and things like that. So look at this incredible woman. So there's her energy streaming out of her into the atmosphere around her and also onto the earth. Okay. So, as an earth set astrology set point for me, I'm a Virgo with Aries rising. When I see this card, I feel like I'm looking into the spiritual aspects that I embody because I'm earth and fire. Sometimes I burn my life down. That's how I transform. Because I'm an Aries, I'll just burn my life down and start over. I've done it a couple of times. It's a little nutty, but I've come to understand myself. So, beautiful energy at the bridge. This ability to emanate, okay, from the third eye, from the crown chakra, from the throat chakra, and at the same time, walk into your life with that beautiful exalted energy flowing out of you, just to allow it to flow. And people always want to know about the purpose of these things. I had to come to learn for myself about that. So initially, Spirit is saying, initially, that's a teaser ad, isn't it? Initially, just to become able to allow it to have its place and to flow and emanate within you and then out for others to share, because that is what is going to bring our transformation. Here as a collective, we all have to stand in our place and emanate that which is within us. I'll talk about that in another live stream. That's too long of a conversation to have. So that's the bridge card that takes you and connects you from your spirit walk, pardon me, I'm saying it backwards, from your human walk to what is happening in the spiritual realm as you walk as a human across this earth. So let's toggle back and we'll go up to the spirit realm, okay? All right, so here's the first card. It's just what I was exactly talking about. Thank you, Spirit. All right, so again, we have another image of a couple, of people connecting. And, we started with the elopement of skill, which is at this point, interestingly enough, standing on the blanket just above the Queen of Battle. And so that was a magical occurrence that happened with those two people. And Spirit is here, and the reading is unfolding in such a way to help us understand the implication and the connection between all of these cards because of the story that's coming out. Okay? So now we've seen the aspects that were introduced to us by the elopement of skill. What it is, when you marry yourself together with Spirit, the experience that happens, it's a feeling of ascension and transformation, rising up through a portal. So none of those inferences are lost on me. I hope you understand. I'm assuming you understand that. And then we're having a discussion through the cards with Spirit about the pathway and the individual energy set points, male and female, and what it is as we develop this vision and how we are being accompanied, the energy that we walk with. So I love that the sacred goddess of the Boyne River is here as the bridge to emanate both onto the earth, bringing up that topic, emanating energy into the spiritual realm and flowing out across the earth. And so now, on the first card on the spirit realm, we see these two people, both male and female energy, standing hand in hand at the edge of the river. Can you see that in the card? All right, let me toggle back and I'll hold it up for you, okay? Hang on one sec. Okay, here it comes. There we go. See that? And look at the sun in the background. All right, so I've been talking about this all year. I'm glad to see that here again. All right, lion-hearted energy. Clearly, this is Spirit's way of talking with us about the Lion's Gate and the occurrence that happened and our ability to take another step, a new step, because look, if I can get it to stand up straight, it's the courtship of skill. Standing on the shore of the river, the sacred place of abundance. And you see how they're looking at each other? They're not really sure. They look a little furtive, don't they? But they have joined their energy together in the light through the experience of this portal that opened. There is something that has occurred, even if we are not aware of it, in the realm of humanity, is what Spirit's saying to me in the background. And you see how they have vessels at their backs, and you can't see what's in them? That's because there is more discovery to make. But Spirit wants to be really clear with us that a shift has taken place, and that here on the earth, we have begun to join together our energies in a new courtship. Very skillful, standing on a shore, on the new shore. So, green and blue garments, okay? Transformation. See, he's dressed in purple and blue. Transformation, and that woman, the signification of the garden where things grow, all right? Green, new growth, and her garment is very green. And she has the sacred spirals are on the trim in her garment. Okay? That's the first card on the spirit realm. And Spirit is directing you to understand the steps that have occurred as you have come through this year, and the place that you have come to, and the spiritual intention of these things that have occurred. It's kind of blowing my mind. The way Spirit talks to us through these cards is always amazing to me. Truly. So, I'm being asked to tell you one more thing. All right, just a reminder. I think you know, but you see, there's the energy that's come through that we have walking with us as we take this journey. Don't ever doubt. Very, gosh, I don't know, sometimes words escape me. I have a language that exists inside of me that I haven't figured out how to share yet. I keep asking Spirit, can you turn that into English, please, so I can speak about that? But so, I think that's why I've been given the cards. The cards can speak about this. And I'm sorry I didn't say this sooner. When you see the card, you're going to have an interpretation that's unique to yourself. Honor that. Don't just wait for me to tell you what I think, right? So I'm giving you the channeled information through the type of clairvoyance that I have. But honor yourself. You are going to learn things about yourself and feel things in your heart chakra and in your mind when you see these images, okay? So make sure when you see these readings that you are fully present and you understand it in your own way. All right, honor that. Okay, so courtship of skill. That's what this couple did. They had this courtship. Spirit's calling you to have a courtship with the spirit world in order to help you ascend through the passageway that clearly, from my point of view now, is going to open for us because we've been through the portals. That was our movement through, with the tombs as a metaphor. We have moved through these places, and we are now prepared to go forward on to the next step, whatever that may be. And because we're humans, incarnated, it's going to be a very interesting experience, I think. All right, so we see two images of sacred courtship. I'm just toggling through. So now we're going to see another image of sacred courtship. Look at that. That is also a courtship card, the third one. That is the Courtship of Battle. So there's a lot that comes through this reading about this card. Again, do you see the river? So, 3 notifications about the river of energy and the river of life, signifying abundance and love and transformation and healing and, all the things associated with water. Okay? See how the progression is happening. So first we have to join our energy, hand in hand, even if we don't know, if we're curious, we don't understand it all, it's okay. Don't worry about that. That's how it's meant to be, because there is discovery, and it is the process of discovery that is going to help us move along the direction that we are meant to go. So again, just bear with me. I have to toggle through this list to get back to the live stream. Okay, so here's the card. See that? Courtship of Battle. This just came up for somebody. This card's been coming up in the personal readings. So a couple things I want to show you about this. Look in the top corner. What? Gee whiz. Here. All right. Do you see there's a hut and a fire? Signifying home and hearth and safety and security and happiness. Okay. So look, there's so many things that come through this card to me. Some of it is my own intellectual process, I think, and some of it is just right from spirit. So there's beautiful male energy filled with passion. Look at the look in his face. It's kindness and love and compassion and acceptance. And look at this woman. She's not happy. She's very upset. So the story behind these cards, this particular card, I'll give you the brief overview. Both of these people were sacred warriors. And he was a soldier by trade, so to speak, because he's a man. And that's, in a certain way, right? Think of all the things that are assigned to us in life because of our gender set point. That's how the world's been operating. And it's starting to shift now. And it's freaking people out, right? How dare you say you're not a man or a woman or whatever that's about. I don't fully understand it yet, but I observe it. And I know that there's a purpose there for all of us. It's pushing us along, most of us kicking and screaming because we don't understand, right? Look at all the upheaval that's going on. I'm in the United States. Oh my God. So Spirit's saying, everybody take a deep breath. We're going to get there. Don't freak out about that stuff, okay? It's, again, think about it in the broadest possible view. It's about transformation. I don't understand it because I'm not having the experience, all right? So it's interesting that Spirit wants to talk about that. I think there's some upset in the background about all the freak out that's going on, at least politically, and sometimes, right where we live is what Spirit's saying. Just be nice to each other, okay? So, he, in his profession as a soldier, killed her beloved. Not to harm her, but it's because that's what he was meant to do. Because he was a man and he was compelled to be a soldier. And, it's one of the things I always feel really sad about, what we do to the men in our societies and what they are asked to do and who they are asked to be. I just feel a sense of tragedy in my heart about that. So, anyway, she also became a warrior because she was so enraged. And she vowed to hunt him down and find him and kill him. And she did. And her name originally meant the gentle one. And then she changed her name to the ungentle. And she put on her warrior suit, so to speak, energetically, Spirit says, and went after this guy. And she found him. And they were battling over a long period of time. And she was a formidable foe. And it was her rage and her anger that kind of undid her in the end. She fell into the river, etc. But what happened was, and this is the point, through this courtship that was about battle and rage, they came to understand each other and value each other and understand their own hearts and what it was to be in this type of battle and how they didn't want to do it. So when she fell in the river, as you know, as the course of the battle went on, his immediate um, inclination, if you will, was to put his sword in the ground and reach out and save her so she didn't get washed away. That was his moment of victory, and he chose not to have it. And so, again, in the realm of spiritual courtship, Spirit's telling us, you know, all of these places in which we exist, all the ways that we experience our humanity, each one of those places is ripe for transformation. And in that moment, she also lifted up her sword to him. It's a moment of acceptance of each other so that the battle can end. And, you know, in the fairy tale of the story, what happened actually was they did fall in love and they got married and they lived happily ever after. That's what the hut's about, right? So it's that kind of a fairy tale. And Spirit uses it in these readings to talk about spiritual courtship. I'm not here talking about romantic love. That's coming, by the way. I've been released. So soon I will be offering to do couples readings and things like that. But for this year, for 2017, Spirit wanted us to just focus on ourselves and our own individual spirit being and our journeys. So when these cards come out, that's what they're talking about. All right. There's not a prophecy here that you're going to meet the one you love and all that. That's not what this is about today. So I just want to be clear about that. Okay. All right. So next to this card, here's what is coming through. All the ways that our progression of shift and change is going to happen. It's going to filter down through the rays of, through the rays of that energy because of the Lionsgate portal. And there's going to be a progression. And Pisces, you are, your sign, your energy set point has a particular gift, if you will, that is adding to the collective as we weave this tapestry of shift and change. Okay, so let's go back and look at the next card, the last card in the spirit line. Okay, and this is a beautiful. This to me is a prophecy. It's a gorgeous card. Here it comes. Look at that. To see the progression of male and female bonding and the energy set points and how each in their own way, you know, look back to the beginning, the first card, and then there you are standing in that type of energy with the King of Art and the Decider of Will, bringing their energy, making it available to the sacred shamaness, whose job it is to transform humanity, and particularly Pisces in these days, a certain type of transformation coming to you. And then the bridge card, talking about, I'm just going to use the common words, and well, in the society that I live in, okay, people would talk about heaven and earth. You know, all this beautiful energy and intention flowing out literally upon the earth just because you are standing there and coming off the crown chakra. You know, when I go, I have a homeopath that has been so good to me over the years with these topics in my life. And, you know, when I go to talk to him about my own experiences, that's what I talk about. This energy that emanates off of me, and how do I learn what to do with it, and how, you know, who the heck am I, and all that stuff, right? When I bring it down to brass tacks and I'm not feeling well, that's what we discuss. And that's what Spirit is here to discuss with you as a Pisces, because you swim in the river of this energy. And that is the other reason that all the signification of water is here, to acknowledge you in the experience that you literally have as someone who moves inside, just like a fish swims in the water. I'm sorry, I'll toggle back. You literally swim in this energy, and you can feel it. And many of you have told me that, how it is to be that sensitive to the energy that is around you. And so the message from Spirit is, be the energy around you. I have, you know, maybe a similar challenge. in terms of my energetic sensitivity. You have more than I do. I think, because of your set point, right? I'm a Virgo. I'm married to the ground. I'm married to the earth and fire. So, stability and passion, that's what drives me forward. You swim in the energy of this, the river, so to speak, of this energy. It's a completely different experience than the one I have. And I think it's time for us to acknowledge ourselves in these ways and begin to really deeply explore with yourself. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been meaning to hold this card up. I apologize. Okay, look. Look at that. Okay, that's a major arcana card. That is the final card in the major arcana of the stack. The Perfector of Energy. And having just come from the Passage Tombs, there are these sacred burial bowls. And that's where the cremated remains are put. And do you see how this bowl is filled with water, Pisces? This is a really particular message for you. And that breastplate signifies the 4 seasons. And so again, there's a message about this year and what it has been to come through the 4 seasons and have your energy perfected in this way. And you see the tools that have been repeated. There's the shield, the bowl of abundance, wisdom, Spirit's telling me. Okay? You've got your spear and your sword, all of the ancient artifacts that one would need to go through a life and perfect their energy. And highly activated now in these ways at the crown chakra, just like the goddess at the river Boyne. You see? Okay, so what Spirit's telling me is, this, sorry, okay, this is, the illustrative representation that helps people understand. All you have to do is look at this card and you know something, right? I don't even have to say it. That's the same thing. That's what Spirit's telling me right now. Same thing. That's this in human form. Let it flow. That's the message. Let it flow. That's what it's meant to do. Okay. So that's the reading. I'm going to toggle back now to the live chat and look a little bit because there may be questions that have come through. I realize it's almost 11:15. So anyone who has to go, namaste and thank you for being here. And thank you so much for your love and support of my efforts and your patience with me as I learn how to do this because I'm pretty much clueless. I'm just riding along on chutzpah at this point. All right, so hang on a second. I'm going to transition back to the cards so you can see that while I look at the live stream. Okay, oh, wrong one. Wait a minute. Sorry. Hang on a sec. Hey, vey. So you know what? I got so carried away. I forgot about the outcome card. So there it is. Let me toggle back and we'll talk about that. Okay. Don't freak out. It's a good message. All right. So there. Okay. See that? So here I was, sitting in the Passage Tomb, and here comes this card that looks like it's all about death, right? We've already talked about this. Do you see how it's the revelation of battle? The message here, yes, there's anxiety. How do we do these things? How do we transform ourselves? And it's funny because what is coming through to me is this notion of the little blue death. There are things that have to change. There's been a lot of death around us. Many of us have caused those things to happen because of our set point in humanity. I mean, I'm not looking at you saying you've done that. I'm just saying this is the place we've been. And that's why these courtships are coming out. Because as we move through our passage, these are the things that cause us to transform. Because when you connect to your heart chakra, there's no tolerance for this. And as I always say about this card, I can't remember, Pisces, if you've seen this woman. So, this moment, even though it looks like there's a tragedy happening, see how she's ripped her clothing and she has gone very deep, and she throws up her arms and offers her energy and asks for help. And her hair begins to turn blue, and she's very deep across, deep in a place of meditation, offering herself to the spiritual realm in order to have her own passage in these moments, understanding the feelings that she has about these types of things that are going on. And the reality that when there's an injury to one of us, there's an injury to all of us. Okay? So it's a card about revelation, the place inside of you that's going to come to some knowledge through these experiences that we have here on the earth as a collective of beings. It is going to be part of the energy that we experience as we go through to this place, so that this falls away, because she transforms and she leaves this experience behind. That's what happens in this card. Okay? So there's a transformation coming through the connections that we're making to deepen our ability to connect with the spiritual energy that's available and the knowledge and information that comes to us in these moments. And so here's the other thing about this card. You know, the placement of the cards, it's important. And I'm going to toggle back to the picture because I want you to look at it. But look at these two together. Okay. Do you see? Transformation is occurring. This woman in this card had to go through her own type of death. She had to be reborn in order for this ascension experience to happen, where she became available. She had to stop being who she was and be transformed, not through her own intention. She didn't want to go through that, but it's what happened. And I believe that that's what Spirit is talking to us about, because if I can scroll these up together, because they sit right next to each other. All right. And this card, let me give me a second. I'm going to toggle back because I want you to look at the center line. All right. Look at that line, the center line. There is coming to us a great awareness of the heart chakra and the woundings there through this transition that we are going through, and certainly you as a Pisces. This reading is about transformation, and the Queen of Battle and the King of Skill are here in order to help us transform our will. And you actually, Spirit's correcting me, use our will in this way to have this mystical experience to transform our relationships with ourselves, with Spirit, and here on the earth. And that's what all the chatter that was coming through. So if you look at that center line of cards, you will understand this outcome card. It's not about some horrible negative thing that's going to happen. It's about the experience, how we will experience these wounds that we give to each other, and you know, the literal physical violence, the wars and things that are going on. We already have that experience. I know you have it because you're a Pisces. So those things are passing away, and they are going to be another piece of the connection, because it is a couple, another visage of a sacred couple, all right? And something's being revealed through that experience as well, because your energy has been perfected. And what I believe is that we will come to a place where we literally have no tolerance for those things anymore, and they will stop. And, you know, who knows how long that will take, but I do believe that is our destiny, because once you're in that type of energy, you just don't want to engage with it anymore. When you've come to the place where you've moved forward enough on a spiritual basis inside yourself, you have no tolerance for that, and you refuse to engage with it. And so I think that's the direction that we're going in. So, all right, now I'm finally going to toggle back, and I'm going to look at what's going on with the chat. Yes, Mary, right. Full circle. I love that. Oh, I love what you're saying, Sandra, about these sacred warriors. All right, I'm just going to scroll up really quickly. Oh gosh, some of you have had experiences with the shamanistic world. That's wonderful. Thanks, Sarah. Hi, Sandra. Ah, you know, one of the things that I'm wishing, it might be true and I don't know yet, um, this live stream chat disappears and it doesn't get posted to the video that gets created. So that's kind of sad. So I always take a few minutes and just look through this. So gang, it's almost, it's 11:21 according to my clock. I've got to go because I have another live stream coming at 11. So I have to get ready and post all my pictures into my software and all that stuff. Okay, so you know, one of the things I love about doing the live stream is that there's so much knowledge that you have that it just enlivens me. And I love when you teach me things, so keep it coming. Sandra's asking if I'm still in Ireland. No, I'm home. I'm back at Moonrise Cottage. I've been a little bit overwhelmed since I got here. You know, a little bit of just exhaustion from the trip, a little tiny bit of jet lag, and then I came home. I'm still working part-time as a nurse, so I came home and right away I had to go back to work, like almost immediately. So, you know, it took me 2 weeks to get my feet back on the ground. Um, let's see. Okay. So, if there were problems with the stream, would you be kind enough to just post some comments when the video comes out? The other thing I want to say is that I did Virgo and Libra, Gemini, and Sagittarius yesterday. And for some reason that I have no way of knowing, Libra and Virgo did not post as a video. I don't know why. So I want everyone to know I'm aware of that and I'll take care of it as soon as I can. I'm going to stick to the schedule that I made. All the people who have a subscription to live stream have the schedule for how these are going to come out. So I'm going to stick to that. And when it's all done, if I haven't been able to figure out how to find those videos, I'm going to have to do it over. So that's a little frustrating, but I'm just trusting that that's the way it's meant to be for some reason that I don't understand. Okay? So everyone, thanks for being here. Good gracious. Oh gosh, see, I forgot to toggle back. So I really appreciate your company and your support and your love and patience with me while I learn how to do this. So I'm sending out big hugs and thanks, and I'll be looking forward to being with you again soon. Okay? So there's another live stream coming at 11. If you want to tune in and you have time, I'd love to have you there. Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you again soon for the November reading, which is coming right almost on the heels of this one. Okay, so I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.